Again. Hi everyone, we're coming to you from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. We're going to be displaying our Ancestry DNA results. It's going to be 4 of us, and we have today
Yahsonn, Tafari,
and
Unoma, Allen,
and me, Natasha Percival, and the one person that's missing is Vaugn, Anslyn. Originally, the 4 of us were supposed to be in the same space to deliver our results. But Vaughn's father recently passed, and he was buried just a few days ago, and he has his family in town with him. So I thought it would be a really nice gift if I can do his results with them today as well. So right now we're gonna just do Unoma and Yahsonn, and with me I'm gonna do mine with Vaugn. Now, before we get started, let me just say one thing. When I told Unoma about this little project, she was so on board with it because, come in the camera a little bit, she was so on board with it because she was just previewed for another friend or family who told you about it.
Yes.
And she was excited. But then Unoma was like, Natasha, but you're going to be so the obvious. I'm like, what the heck
You
is
look at
that
your
supposed to
complexion.
mean?
Yeah.
Let me tell y'all something. If I turned out to be even 1% more African than Unoma, she would not live this down for the rest of her life. I'm
yes,
just saying. I just like come into the camera.
But you know it's going to be true. I'm going to be more African than you.
no comment. No comment. I'll leave you ladies on that one. We're going to find out what they actually would like to know too. If she really turns out to be a bit more than you, that would be quite interesting. You know?
I would not let her live that down if I turned out to be more
true,
from
eh?
the motherland than she is.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Oh hell no.
What if he says that none of you really have much of that either? I mean, yeah, I mean,
No, that would be a twist.
suppose you both have maybe some Portuguese or
Yeah.
Irish blood or something. We don't know.
We don't know, right.
That's the ambiguity of the whole the suspense of
Oh yeah, this is
the
exciting.
whole situation.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to say you were born where?
On Nevis.
And you were born where?
On St. Kitts.
Alright, okay, so we're going to start with Unoma, and she's going to tell you a little bit of herself, a little bit about her history, what she was told from her parents and grandparents, and then the second thing she's going to do is guess how much of a percentage she is from the African descent, and she's just going to try to pinpoint where she thinks, which country in Africa she thinks her DNA would probably show up the most or just show up with. So go ahead.
Well, it's going to be quite interesting to compare my results with the 2 of you, mainly because I'm the first person in my family to be born within St. Kitts and Nevis. My mother is from Jamaica, my father is from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, so I don't know in sourcing the Africans to bring to the Caribbean if maybe St. Vincent might have had a higher percentage of a certain set of Africans as opposed to St. Kitts and Nevis, or if Jamaica might have had a higher percentage from a particular part of the continent, or they just grabbed everybody and it's the same regardless of which Caribbean island we now come from. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. So in terms of what my family would have said, from the Jamaican side, the only bit of information that stood out, well, 2 bits. One, my grandfather was adopted by a family called the Wilsons in Portland, Jamaica, but he was really a Moor from St. Thomas, which suggests that he probably came from the Maroons, and there's Moortown, which was a Maroon town. So I'm guessing that my percentage of African ancestry is quite high because the Maroons, and you could say they weren't in a situation to mix much. Their African DNA or their African genes would have been quite strong because they were mixing with each other. They were far removed from the rest of the plantation and things like that. Another thing too, I had a cousin, my grandfather's first cousin kept on saying that members of our family were the original Israelites or something like that, and there's a family member who had soft hair, and he would say to my great-grandmother, Susan, when we're going back to the original land, something to that effect. So I don't know what that would mean if Ethiopia is part of my genes. I have no clue. With regards to my grandmother, I have a feeling she has European in her, just based on how she looked, or more how her hair was. She died just before she turned 90, and she had a full head of hair. It was silver, very, very soft. I'm not saying that people of African descent didn't naturally have soft hair, but based on what we have been told, there might have been some mixing on her end. Now let's travel down to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I was told more than I was told about the Jamaican side. One, an aunt of mine who was a librarian did some research into the family. She said that we had Kalinago blood, what we know as Carib blood. I understand that there's Scottish and Irish within us. Then I understand that the Allen line in St. Vincent started from Antigua. So I don't know if once again the Antiguans would have received a certain set of Africans as opposed to St. Vincent, but that was just one half. I mean, this man who migrated from Antigua married someone from St. Vincent. So this is quite interesting to see, you know, what the end result would be. But
you might be cousins, because I thought I have relatives in Antigua.
In Antigua, what?
Alright, so okay, alright.
So let's see. I predict Ghana. I predict the majority of me would have come from Ghana, mainly because my father's older brother made a pilgrimage before he died to Ghana. He said it was very important for him to go and see the journey and experience the journey of course, onto the coast of what might have happened to our ancestors. And he said when he came back to the Caribbean, he said, we look just like them. So my guess based on him, that the majority of me would be more Ghanaian, and there's Irish and Scottish and maybe some, because the Kalinagos migrated from Asia or something like that. You know?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
We have to research that.
Let's see what happens.
But how much percentage do you think you are?
Of African, or just in general?
Of African.
Of African, I'm going to say 90. I'm going to say 92. 92%.
Okay. Alright.
And or above.
Alright, so
Okay.
92%. Alright, so let's reveal. Let me reveal to you what your...
Oh, you saw it?
No.
Not afraid.
Alright.
That's it? Where is it?
So part of it is right here.
Oh.
So the first two results are...
You got to be kidding me. Okay, overall, I am what? 69% African. 69? You see, if you add those two together.
Oh wait, you have the other regions. You have 10 other
Other regions of what?
So we're gonna open it, but at least you have, you know.
Okay, you want to hear this? Ready? Okay. So I didn't mention a particular country in Africa, but my uncle was quite almost on point. 34% of my genealogy came from Ghana/Ivory Coast. 34, and by 1% more, I'm Nigerian. 35% of my makeup is Nigerian. 34% is Ivory Coast, Ghana. So that's like 69 in Africa. So like when they say other regions.
Wait, let's see. Oh no.
The internet gone.
Lost connection. Let's see what the other 10% is, because it could be
Like
other
other parts
regions
of Africa.
Right. So
That is interesting. I'm more Nigerian.
at least current ain't gone boop and current ain't
Boop.
gone bop.
But he
You
was
heard
right.
Corey's-
Oh my gosh, he was
I'm
right.
sorry. Corey just had to give that one to you. So let's see what other 10% makeup was that. And then they kind of. So let's see. What. Actually, no. The other percentages. Girl, look at this.
Oh! Boom! We should have
So-
put money on this.
Wait. So actually, they gave her the highest percentages first, and then there are a couple more percentages that were under some,
But
drop
still
down
out of
menus.
Africa, but
Right,
still out of Africa.
Right, still out of Africa. So.
Oh my goodness, so maybe I was a maroon.
So you want to read the rest? Wait, let me drop down this part, and then you can read the
Oh my
rest of them.
goodness, so it's true.
Oh my God, girl, look at you!
Damn. I'm like, I
Wait.
just came out of Africa. It's like my ancestry
Can you
didn't.
read your results?
Okay. Okay. So 34% Ivory Coast/Ghanaian, 35% Nigerian, Cameroon, Congo 13%, Senegal 5%, Africa Southeastern Bantu 4%, Mali 3%, Benin, Togo 1%, and Africa South Central, they've cut off something. South Central.
Let's see if we can open this up. South Central, hunter and gatherers, actually.
That explains quite a bit.
Primarily located in South Africa,
Namibia, Botswana, Congo, 1%. There is how much percent African am I and how much percent European?
So
I am.
Go ahead.
I am 4% European.
And let's see what those regions are. Look at that. What actually did you call this one?
1% Irish.
Less than 1% Irish.
Less than 1%. Less than 1% Irish. Less than 1% European, West European. Great Britain, less than 1%. And the Iberian Peninsula, less than 1%. Only Scotland.
Iberian Peninsula. Was that the Italian area? I'm not sure. We have to look that up. Spain and Portugal.
Spain and Portugal. And go up to Great Britain. What would they
Great Britain is
England, Scotland, and Wales. But that's a small percentage.
And then European West.
Belgium, France, Germany, Netherlands, Switzerland, Luxembourg.
Okay.
But that's small.
Okay, and then Ireland was
Wales, Scotland again. So Scotland really is present twice. But I'm 4% European and 96% African. So maybe the whole idea of my grandfather's family being maroons is quite true.
Oh, congrats!
Wow.
96%. That's like a lot.
That's a lot.
That's
a
congrats.
high percentage.
Congrats. That's awesome for you to be 96%.
So that means that I am a true resistor. Okay.
True.
Come from the maroons. Wow. Okay.
All right.
I don't want to hear his.
Well, for me, I don't really know much as Unoma does. In speaking to my parents, my grandmothers, both of them were pretty dark-skinned people, so I presume they were predominantly really more African than my grandfathers, who were from my father's side. I was told that he possibly had some English blood in him. From my grandmother's side, or from my mother's side, sorry. My dad was a red-skinned guy whose parents, well, his mother, I think he was the only one born here, but I think the other of his siblings were born in Santo Domingo.
Wow.
So I really don't know exactly. So I grew up in a village in Nevis called Ghana. Not spelled the same way that this Ghana is spelled, but I always tend to think that I would have some connections there. So I think I'll get some Ghana results, and I guess due to my spiritual belief now, I would hope that I have some Ethiopian connections also. But I really don't know. I'm not too dark skinned, so I presume that there might be a little bit more percentage of other countries than Unoma. But however, there were some African countries that, even though they were full Africans, they had a lighter shade, because there are different shades of Africa, right? So
correct.
I don't know. So I'm gonna guess less than 93.
96 is hard to beat.
Yes, that's why I said 93. I'll say 93%, and I'll see if I'm anywhere close to that. So let's see if we can work from there. So I think I'm ready.
Oh my gosh.
To see?
I think I'm ready for the
reveal.
The news. Yeah, the news. I don't want to say if it's good or bad news. I just want to say I think I'm just ready for the news.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not even looking.
Right. 27% Benin, Togo, 18% Nigeria,
Wow.
and
So let's
13%
other
others.
regions,
So wait. So calculating that, that's 45% so far.
So far.
And that's the majority.
And those are like the highest percentage.
Okay, so So.
Okay, so I guess we'll have to do some calculations here.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing basically the highest percentages so far. Benin, Togo, 27%. Nigeria, 18%. Cameroon, Congo, 14%. Senegal, 12%. Ivory Coast, Ghana, 11%. Okay, so I do have some Ghana in there. Some low confidence regions. Great Britain, 8%.
That's more than me.
Well, like I told you, my father said
Yes.
that there was some, on his side, my grandfather should have some English roots. So
Yes, you were correct.
I guess, yeah. South Central hunter-gatherers, 2%. Ireland, Scotland, Wales, 1%. Native American, 1%.
That's a
Okay.
Europe East,
Let me
1%.
come down. I think I need to come down a little bit more.
Whoa.
Okay. Asia South. So I got a little bit of Asian. I mean,
man, you're
I was
coming
told,
out.
I was told I have some Chinese looking eyes, so
Wait.
maybe
It said South. Let's see where the South is made up from now.
India,
Oh,
Pakistan,
man.
Nepal, Bhutan,
So that part of
Bangladesh,
Asia.
Sri Lanka.
That part
But
is-
no, no, we have to be very cautious with our history to some extent because some of those Eastern, those Arabian countries like Iran and Iraq and so on, they were once, that landmass, all of that landmass was once considered Ethiopia or part of Africa. And so these are some history that we are not too familiar with to some extent.
True.
But so, though they may be considered
Different now, separate.
different now,
Yeah.
once ago, so then you still see the connection
True.
to some extent.
Be African.
The other one, South Europe and Polynesia.
Look at that.
That's interesting.
You're
1%,
Less than 1%.
less than 1%.
You're just a melting pot right now.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So the Polynesia would have been
Tonga, Samoa.
See it, man. You know they how they those aren't they rugby players and so forth.
But like what's his name? That was in yeah. Right.
I could see the shape actually.
The
The outline,
build-up.
yeah.
Hey, that's just
Less than 1%,
less than 1%. So yeah, I don't think it's that strong. I don't think it's that strong.
Yeah, that's interesting with the Polynesia part of it. But anyway.
Yeah,
see
so
what I
let's
can
see. So that's 27 and 18, that's 45, and 49, 59, 61, 71, 72, 82, 82, 84. So that's basically about it as well. Yeah, because Great Britain is not right. So it's just basically about 84%. African. I am a lot less than I thought. Satisfied. 84, is very far from 50. So
Yes.
yeah, it's pretty much a very strong African
ties. Yeah.
connection.
I agree. I'm still coming for her 96%. So
Bring it on.
still coming for you.
Yeah, beat the Maroons, girlfriend.
All right, so that completes both of them for the DNA test, and I'll be traveling. We're in St. Kitts right now, and I'll be traveling back to Nevis to do mine with Vaugn. So his will be quite interesting as well to see, and then I can't wait to see what mine is versus Unoma's.
Oh,
So
yeah,
let's make a prediction. How much African you think she is?
Okay,
If you're 82.
yeah, I'll give her maybe
Okay,
74 or so.
75, 77, 75 to 77.
Yeah.
All right, so both of them have me in the 77
Yeah.
category.
Yes.
We'll see.
We'll
The
see.
suspense.
We're going for the 98%. 98%. They're laughing, eh?
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Can't have
But seriously, we want to encourage anybody in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis to please, if you can, get your DNA tested for your ancestral roots, just to see where we come from. It'll be really interesting if we have somebody here that's 100%
In the Caribbean.
from Africa. Actually, there was a gentleman. He's from Africa. He's married to a Jamaican, and they both did the Ancestry DNA test. And his wife was 100% African, and she's Jamaican, 100%, and he wasn't, and he was from Africa. So that was really, really interesting to read about them.
It's pretty possible because, as she mentioned, the Maroons, they that's a very prevalent
Yes.
group that was in Jamaica. However, in Africa, we still have to know that it was only one country that was never colonized, and that was Ethiopia. So depending on where you are in Africa, the likeliness of what happened here in the Caribbean in the sense of the intermixing and so on would have taken place. So the likeliness of you not being fully 100% Africa. Well, Al-Kebulan, because Africa is still a name that was given to the country by the Europeans. So yeah, 100% Al-Kebulan. So the likeliness of that is very slim. Though St. Kitts was sort of the place where most of the enslaved Africans passed through and were very well sold and to different parts of the Caribbean. We still had a lot of different countries, because we had the French fighting along with the British.
Against the Spanish, against the Portuguese,
for St. Kitts, and so you still have that mix of people, and so the likeliness of having full Africans,
And don't forget the Dutch was in Nevis, pretty prevalently. I mean, I was telling, and he was actually telling me about a book, and you as well. And one of the books that I absolutely love, or the two books, that I absolutely love, and I'm gonna try to read more, is Ship, Swords, and Sugar by Vincent Hubbard, A History of Nevis. And I thought that Archibald's book, memoir of Sir Simeon Daniel, was a perfect sequel to it. Washington Archibald's book was modern day, and Vincent was all past time, but the two together give a really good history of Nevis, and I absolutely love those two books. And then Tafari and Unoma, well, you tell me about Stapleton's book. I don't know, remember the title of it.
Places of Memory, I think.
Oh, yes, I don't remember the name of it.
Places of Memory.
So there's a lot of authors within the Federation that gives a good history of, from past to present. And plus, definitely do go out and support them. I'm going to try to have a few books at the end of this video for you to go ahead out and support. And when you're here, if you're visiting, to just kind of buy, to get our culture, to get where we come from. Or if you just want to know, if you're a local, you just want to know. So I'll try to put that at the end of the video as well. All right, so thanks for joining us, and I'll see you on the other side, which is in Nevis with Vaugn.